It takes less than 10 seconds each day to clean a small part of your body, but if you ignore it, it could silently damage your health and shorten your lifespan. It sounds like a shocking warning, but it's the truth that few people know. In this video, you'll discover 5 areas of the body that older adults often forget to clean when bathing, where bacteria and fungi are attacking you day and night without you even realizing. Don't overlook it, because one of these areas is directly linked to your immune system, and with just a small habit, you can protect your whole life. If you find it interesting, don't forget to click subscribe and like below to support the author and spread valuable lessons to many others. Now, let's get started. 1. The scalp. Mr. David is 72 years old and lives alone in a small house on the outskirts of town. He is a simple, quiet man who enjoys reading and tending his vegetable garden. His hair has thinned, leaving only fine silver strands, so he often thinks I have so little hair left. Maybe I don't need to worry about my scalp anymore. One day, while reading in the living room, he suddenly felt an irritating itch on his head. He scratched repeatedly and thought to himself, "It's probably just dirt from the garden. I'll wash my hair later and it'll be fine." But a few days later, the itching worsened. Mr. David began to notice small flakes falling onto his shoulders. He shook his head in frustration. Why hasn't it cleared up? Maybe it's just because I'm old and my scalp is like this now. Mrs. Linda, his neighbor, a woman in her 60s who is very attentive to health care, saw him scratching and asked, "Mr. David, why are you scratching your head so much? Is there something wrong with your scalp?" Mr. David replied, "My hair is thinning. My scalp feels dry and itchy, and flakes keep coming off." I thought it was normal for an older person. Mrs. Linda looked at him seriously. "You're mistaken. The scalp is still skin, and as we age, it needs more careful care. It's not about how much hair you have, but how healthy your scalp is." Mr. David was surprised. "Really? I always thought with less hair the scalp wouldn't matter much." Mrs. Linda smiled softly. "You know, the scalp has the highest density of oil glands on the body. If you don't take proper care, oils and dirt will build up, causing itchiness, inflammation, and flaking. This can lead to more serious scalp conditions than you might expect." Mr. David asked, "So, what should I do to improve this? I already have little hair, and now my scalp is itchy and uncomfortable." Mrs. Linda answered, "You should wash your hair with a mild shampoo, not too often and not too little. When washing, gently massage your scalp to boost blood circulation, then dry your scalp thoroughly afterwards. Try this a few times and you'll notice a difference." Mr. David took her advice and decided to change his scalp care routine. For the first time in years, he spent 10 minutes massaging his scalp during each wash. He was surprised to feel comfort and relaxation spread through his head. One evening, he called his son and said, "Son, lately I felt much more comfortable on my scalp, no more itching like before. I'm starting to take care of my scalp properly." His son replied happily, "Taking care of your scalp well improves your overall health too, Dad. Washing and gently massaging stimulates blood flow and helps keep your mind sharp." Mr. David laughed. "Even though I'm old, I'm still learning new things. It's amazing how something so small can be so important." A week later, while walking in the park, he met an old friend, Mrs. Helen. They sat on a bench and chatted. Mrs. Helen asked Mr. David, "You look healthier. Have you been taking better care of your hair and scalp?" Mr. David smiled broadly. "Yes, I used to think with less hair the scalp didn't matter, but it turns out the scalp is the most sensitive part. I now wash my hair more mindfully and massage every time. My scalp itches less, and I feel much more relaxed. Mrs. Helen reflected I usually wash my hair quickly because of hair loss. Hearing you now, I realize I was wrong. Mr. David said seriously, as we get older, we have to take care of ourselves in every little way, even something as simple as washing our hair. The scalp isn't just a surface. It affects overall health, so don't ignore it. One afternoon, Mr. David thought to himself, for so long I neglected my scalp, because I thought having less hair meant it didn't matter. Thankfully, Mrs. Linda reminded me in time. Now, I must keep this habit and not let my scalp suffer any more. He placed his hand on his head and smiled. Thank you, scalp. Thank you, body, for silently enduring. From now on, I will cherish every part of my body. Mr. David's story reminds us, especially older adults, not to overlook the scalp no matter how thin or sparse your hair may be. Taking care of your scalp helps prevent skin problems and also supports mental clarity, reduces stress, and maintains overall health. A small change in your hair washing routine can make a big difference in your quality of life. If you find this story helpful, please leave a comment saying, Number 1, so I know you're still here and care about your health too. Feet. Mrs. Louie is 75 years old and lives alone in a small house in the suburbs. She enjoys gardening and often takes walks around her garden every morning. But recently, she began to feel something was wrong with her feet, though she didn't openly say so. One morning, while sitting in her armchair, her daughter Emily came to visit. Seeing her sitting stiffly and seeming to be in pain, Emily asked, Mom, why have you been sitting for so long today? Are your feet hurting? Mrs. Louie tried to smile, but her face was still full of worry. My feet are just a bit tired and itchy. Nothing serious, dear. Emily was suspicious. Have you been washing your feet properly? Do you notice any itching or red spots on them? Mrs. Louie shook her head. I only rinse them quickly under the shower. I thought that was enough. There's nothing strange about my feet. Emily was uneasy and sat down gently, saying, Mum, feet are very important, especially for elderly people like you. If you don't take proper care, you could have serious problems. Mrs. Louie frowned. What kind of serious problems, dear Emily explained. The feet are the most vulnerable to fungal infections and bacteria because they are often warm and moist, especially between the toes. In older people, small issues like fungal infections can develop quickly and cause cellulitis or ulcers. You should wash your feet thoroughly, dry them completely, and if you notice anything unusual, see a doctor immediately. Mrs. Louie sighed. I didn't realize something as simple as that could be so dangerous. I also often have numbness, loss of sensation in my feet. Sometimes I don't even notice the early signs. Emily looked at her with sympathy. That's right. Because of weakened nerves, you can't feel clearly. But ignoring it can be very dangerous, Mom. You might get infections without realizing. Mrs. Louie thought for a moment and said, Can you help me? Then I'm afraid I might not wash properly and might harm my skin. Emily smiled. Of course, Mum. I will help you care for your feet every day. We'll start by washing them properly, drying them thoroughly, and carefully checking for any abnormalities. That evening, Emily brought a basin of warm water with a few drops of fragrant oil. Mrs. Louie sat down a little shy but agreed. Emily gently dipped her feet in the basin, then carefully washed between each toe. It feels so pleasant, dear, Mrs. Louie exclaimed. I've never felt my feet cared for so attentively before. You should keep up this habit, not just rinse them quickly anymore, Emily advised. After washing, Emily used a soft towel to dry each toe, paying special attention to the spaces between them. Remember, feet must always be dry. Moisture makes fungal infections spread very fast, she said. Mrs. Louis nodded. I will try. But I'm also worried about my cracked heels. They hurt and are uncomfortable. Emily took out a specialized heel cream and gently applied it to her mother's skin. This helps keep your skin soft and prevents cracking. If left untreated, cracks can let bacteria penetrate deeply and cause infections. Mrs. Louis looked at her feet, noticing the thickened, cracked skin patches. She suddenly felt concerned. I never thought these small things could be so dangerous. Thank you for helping me. A week later, Mrs. Louis felt much better. The itching had reduced, and her heels were less cracked. One afternoon, she called her close friend Mrs. Margaret and shared Margaret lately. I've been taking better care of my feet. My daughter helps me wash dry and apply cream. My feet hurt and itch less now. Mrs. Margaret laughed. That's wonderful. Louis, I usually just rinse quickly too. I didn't know how to do it properly. I was the same, but now I realize feet are very vulnerable, especially as we get older. Mrs. Louis replied. One morning, Mrs. Louis went for a routine checkup and told her doctor I had itchy feet and cracked heels, but it's much better now because I've been more careful. The doctor nodded. That's excellent, Mrs. Louis. Feet can silently affect overall health if not properly cared for. Especially in older adults with circulation problems or diabetes, keeping feet clean and dry is extremely important. Mrs. Louis asked, Do you have any advice to keep my feet healthier? The doctor replied, Daily thorough washing, especially between the toes, and drying carefully to avoid moisture and fungus. If you see redness, itching, or unusual pain, get it checked straight away. Avoid walking barefoot in damp places, and use moisturizing cream to prevent cracks. Mrs. Louis nodded, feeling reassured. Thank you, doctor. I will keep up this foot care routine. Mrs. Louis' story reminds us that feet, often the most neglected part, are extremely important for elderly health. Proper washing, drying, and soft skin care not only prevent fungal and inflammatory problems, but also protect overall body health. Don't let small things impact your or your loved one's quality of life. If you find this story helpful, please leave a comment number 2 to let me know you're paying attention to your foot health. The area under the breast. After several days of carefully looking after her feet, Mrs. Louis felt healthier overall. But one evening, while chatting with her daughter, she suddenly sighed. Darling, recently I've noticed the skin under my breasts feels a bit itchy, and sometimes there are small red patches that I don't understand. Emily leaned closer to her mother, examining carefully. Do you feel any pain or discomfort, or is it just itching? Mrs. Louis nodded. Just itching. But occasionally it feels a little burning, and the skin seems slightly irritated. I thought maybe it was just the heat or wearing tight clothes. Emily frowned. Do you regularly clean and dry the area under your breasts, or do you just rinse it quickly in the shower? Mrs. Louis smiled lightly. I always thought it was covered, so there's no need to clean it thoroughly. I just rinse it. Also, I can't really see the area properly, so I didn't know there could be a problem. Emily said that's exactly the issue, Mum. The area under the breasts is very prone to irritation, especially for older people like you. The skin there is thin and sensitive, often covered by a bra, so it tends to stay warm and damp, creating the perfect environment for bacteria and fungi to grow. Mrs. Louis asked, bacteria and fungi. Really, I thought it was just sweat. Emily nodded. Yes, Mum, especially in the folds under the breasts where it's warm and moist. If you don't wash, carefully dry thoroughly, and keep it clean, bacteria can multiply quickly, leading to intertrigo, a red rash caused by friction and moisture. Mrs. Louis was surprised. "What is intertrigo? Is it dangerous?" Emily explained. "It starts with itching and redness, but if left untreated, it can develop into sores, open wounds, or chronic fungal infections that are difficult to treat and can take weeks to heal. It's even more likely if you've had breast surgery or significant weight changes. These make the area more vulnerable." Mrs. Louis sighed. "I've had surgery, and over the years my breasts have sagged quite a lot. Maybe I'm at higher risk." Emily looked at her with concern. "If you don't catch it early, it can be very serious. The area under the breasts is hard to see, so people often overlook it until the wounds are severe." Mrs. Louis nodded. "So can you show me how to care for it properly? I don't know what to do." Emily smiled. "It's very simple, Mum. When you shower gently, lift the skin under your breasts. Wash carefully with a mild soap rinse thoroughly. Then use a soft towel to dry completely. Use a separate towel for this area to avoid spreading bacteria." Mrs. Louis asked, "Is it hard to dry it properly?" Emily: "No, Mum. It only takes a few seconds of attention. If you sweat a lot, you can also use a bit of unscented talcum powder or corn flour to keep the area dry without causing irritation." Mrs. Louis smiled. "It sounds simple, but I never thought of it before." The next day, Mrs. Louis tried Emily's method. While showering, she gently lifted the skin under her breasts, applied mild soap, and rinsed well. She paid special attention to drying carefully with a soft towel. She thought to herself, "Just a few seconds, but it feels much better. No more itching or burning. This area deserves as much care as my feet or face." That afternoon, she told Emily on the phone, "Darling, I did exactly as you said. The itchiness under my breast has gone, and it's much more comfortable. I feel like I'm taking better care of myself overall." Emily was happy. "That's great, Mum. Remember to keep doing this every day. It's a small area, but makes a big difference to your comfort and health." Mrs. Louis said, "I understand now. I'll pay more attention to all parts of my skin and not neglect any spots." A week later, Mrs. Louis went for a routine health check. When talking to her doctor, she shared, "Doctor, recently I've been looking after the area under my breasts more carefully, washing, drying, and keeping it clean daily. The skin feels better, no more itching or burning." The doctor nodded approvingly. "Very good, Mrs. Louis. The folds under the breasts are prone to inflammation and infection, especially in older adults. If not cared for properly, it can cause intertrigo fungal infections or wounds that heal slowly." Mrs. Louis asked, "Is there anything else I should keep in mind to keep this skin healthy?" The doctor advised you should use a mild soap. Avoid harsh cleansers that can irritate. After bathing, dry the area completely. If you sweat a lot, unscented talcum powder can help keep it dry. Also, wear well-fitting bras that aren't too tight, and change them regularly to prevent bacterial buildup." Mrs. Louis nodded. "Thank you, doctor. I will take better care." Through Mrs. Louis' story, we realize that the skin under the breasts, though hard to see and often overlooked, is very important, especially for older people. Proper care of this area helps prevent intertrigo fungal infections and protects overall health, maintaining daily comfort. Take a few seconds each day to care for this area, as it deserves as much attention and respect as any other part of your body. 4. The navel area. Mr. Thomas, a 72-year-old English gentleman, lived alone in a small house in a seaside town. Despite his age, he maintained the habit of daily bathing and took good care of his health. However, there was one thing he had never really paid attention to: his navel area. One morning, while preparing to take a shower, Mr. Thomas suddenly felt a bit itchy and uncomfortable around his navel. Looking down, he noticed the skin around it was slightly red and a little damp. He hesitated, unsure what to do, since it didn't look serious. He thought to himself, it's just a small spot, probably caused by sweat. I bathe thoroughly every day, so how could there be an infection? The next day, during a routine health checkup, he decided to ask, "Nurse Linda, dear, do you have any advice on how to keep my navel area cleaner? Lately, I've been feeling some itchiness and discomfort around there." Linda smiled kindly. "Mr. Thomas, the navel is one of the most easily forgotten areas on the body, especially as we get older. It's like a little pit where sweat-dead skin cells and soap residue can easily accumulate, creating a perfect environment for bacteria and yeast to grow." Mr. Thomas tilted his head curiously. "Really? I never thought that area needed special care." Linda nodded. "Exactly. As we age, our bodies become less flexible, and cleaning the navel properly gets harder. If not properly cleaned, you could develop navel inflammation, an infection caused by bacteria thriving in the dark, warm and moist environment of the navel." Mr. Thomas asked further, "Navel inflammation? That sounds serious. Are there signs I should watch out for?" Linda explained. "At first it's just mild irritation, itching, or redness around the navel. But if unnoticed or untreated, it can cause bad odor discharge and even form hard lumps called navel stones, which can be very uncomfortable and require medical treatment." Mr. Thomas frowned. "Oh, I don't want that to happen. What can I do to prevent it?" Linda smiled warmly. "It's quite simple. Just make a small habit each day while bathing gently clean, inside the navel using your fingertip wrapped in a soft cloth, or a cotton swab with warm water and mild soap. Then make sure to dry it thoroughly. Keeping the navel dry is just as important as cleaning it, because bacteria multiply rapidly in moist conditions." Mr. Thomas nodded attentively. "That sounds easy, but I've never done that before. Should I be extra careful if I've had abdominal surgery?" Linda replied, "Yes, definitely. People who have had surgery or have skin folds around the navel should pay more attention, since those areas are more prone to bacterial buildup." Mr. Thomas sighed. "Thank you very much, Linda. I'll start this routine today." In the following days, Mr. Thomas began his new habit. Every morning during his shower, he patiently used a cotton swab to gently clean his navel, then dried it carefully. At first, he felt some mild discomfort because the skin there was sensitive, but gradually the feeling diminished. A week later, he called Linda. "Thanks for teaching me how to care for my navel properly. The itching has gone, and the skin around my navel feels much cleaner and more comfortable." Linda replied cheerfully, "You're doing great. Just a few minutes a day can prevent many serious problems." Mr. Thomas shared, "It's strange how such a small area can affect my comfort so much. I used to think the navel wasn't that important." Linda laughed. "That's right, Mr. Thomas. Sometimes the smallest and most overlooked parts of our body are the most important, especially for older people. When the immune system weakens, keeping this area clean helps prevent illness more effectively." Mr. Thomas reflected and said, "I'll tell my friends of the same age about this. Maybe they also neglect their navel without realizing how serious it can be." Linda answered, "That's wonderful. Sharing knowledge helps everyone become more aware of taking care of their health." 1 month later, during a general health checkup, the doctor asked about his habits. "Mr. Thomas, how have you been lately?" "Any health concerns, Mr. Thomas answered. "Doctor, I recently learned how to properly care for my navel. I clean and dry it carefully every day. It no longer feels uncomfortable." The doctor smiled. "That's excellent. Many older adults tend to forget or neglect their navels. Your attention to this area helps prevent infections and other problems. Very commendable. Mr. Thomas asked, "Any other advice, doctor?" The doctor replied, "Keep up the routine. Avoid harsh cleaning products. And if you notice any unusual swelling odor or discharge, see a doctor promptly. Also, wear clean, breathable clothing to help keep the area dry." Mr. Thomas nodded. "I'll remember that. Thank you very much, doctor." From Mr. Thomas's story, we learn that the navel, though small, can be a hidden haven for bacteria and fungi if not properly cared for. Especially for the elderly, maintaining navel hygiene not only prevents infections, but also protects overall health. A simple daily habit, gently cleaning and thoroughly drying the navel, can make a big difference, helping you feel more comfortable and healthier every day. 5. Groin area. Mr. David is a 68-year-old Australian gentleman who used to be a well-known fitness coach. He has always been proud of his health and flexibility despite his age. But recently, he started experiencing a very private and awkward issue. His groin area suddenly became uncomfortable, itchy, and sometimes had a strange smell. One morning, while getting dressed, Mr. David stood in front of the mirror and quietly said to himself, "What's going on with me? I always keep myself very clean, so why is this area showing these unusual signs?" However, he felt embarrassed and did not want to tell anyone. He reassured himself. This is such a sensitive issue. Who would want to hear about it? It's probably just a minor thing and will go away on its own. But as the discomfort worsened, he decided to call his home health nurse, Sarah. "Sarah, I have a delicate question. My groin has been itchy, slightly red, and sometimes painful. Should I be worried?" Sarah replied gently. "Mr. David, this is a very common issue among older adults, but few dare to speak about it. The groin is a very sensitive area and easily irritated if not cared for properly." Mr. David sighed. "I keep myself clean every day, so why am I still having this problem? I don't understand." Sarah explained. "As we age, the skin becomes looser with more folds and reduced muscle tone, which creates a favorable environment for moisture to accumulate, allowing bacteria and fungi to grow. Both men and women can experience this condition, and it's not simply due to poor hygiene." Mr. David asked, "So what exactly causes it, and how can I get rid of this condition?" Sarah answered, "The skin in the groin area is very sensitive and prone to friction from tight clothing, urinary incontinence, or prolonged sitting, if not washed and dried properly. Conditions like intertrigo skin, fold rash, fungal infections, or folliculitis can develop. At first, it may only cause slight redness and itching, but if untreated, it can become painful, cause skin damage, and heal very slowly." Mr. David was concerned. "How dangerous is this? I've heard infections here can spread." Sarah nodded. "That's right. The groin area is close to lymph nodes and important structures, so even small wounds can become serious if not treated promptly. For older people, the skin is fragile and healing is slower and more complicated." Mr. David sighed again. "It's frustrating that such a small issue can cause so much trouble. How should I take care of it properly?" Sarah advised. "The key is daily hygiene use, warm water, and fragrance-free soap wash, gently with your bare hands or a soft cloth without scrubbing harshly. Make sure to clean between the folds, thoroughly rinse well, and dry completely. If the area tends to stay moist, you can apply talc-free powder or protective barrier creams. For those with urinary incontinence, clean immediately after urinating and avoid leaving the skin wet for long." Mr. David asked, "What should I avoid when caring for this area?" Sarah replied, "Avoid rough towels, tight clothing, and choose breathable fabrics. If you notice any foul smell, redness, or severe itching, see a doctor promptly for treatment." After their conversation, Mr. David began paying more attention to caring for his groin. Every day he used warm water and mild soap, washed gently by hand, and dried carefully with a soft towel. He also chose looser, more breathable clothes to reduce friction. A week later, he called Sarah again. "Sarah, thank you so much. Since following your advice, my groin feels much less itchy and more comfortable." Sarah smiled. "You're doing very well. Mr. David, proper care can prevent many serious problems." Mr. David happily said, "I never realized such a small, sensitive area needed so much attention. I used to think normal washing was enough." Sarah said, "Exactly, especially as we age and our bodies change. Maintaining hygiene in these sensitive areas helps you feel more comfortable and prevents unpleasant infections and skin damage that affect overall health." A month later, during a routine checkup, the doctor asked about Mr. David's health. He shared how caring for his groin properly had improved his condition. The doctor smiled. "Mr. David, your attention and proper hygiene in the groin area is very important and commendable. Many older adults feel embarrassed and don't speak up about these issues. But these small habits help prevent many health complications." Mr. David nodded. "I will tell my friends to pay more attention too. I guess everyone needs to understand that even small sensitive areas cannot be ignored." The doctor advised, "Keep up the good habits. Maintain hygiene wear, breathable clothes, and don't hesitate to consult a doctor if you notice anything unusual." Mr. David's story reveals a little-known secret. The groin, one of the most sensitive parts of the body, is very prone to problems if not cared for properly. Especially for older adults, gentle and thorough hygiene not only brings comfort, but also helps prevent serious infections, pain, and slow-healing skin damage. If you or your loved ones are in the older age group, don't hesitate to take time every day to care for the groin area, because sometimes small actions make a big difference in health and quality of life. Washing and carefully caring for 5 key body areas. The feet, navel, under the breasts, scalp, and groin. Daily not only removes dirt, bacteria, and sweat, but also prevents many common illnesses in older adults. This simple hygiene habit helps maintain comfort, prevent irritation and infection, and keep the body healthy, thereby supporting longevity and improving quality of life. Don't overlook these small areas. Proper care is the secret to living peacefully and full of energy every day. If you find this video interesting and useful, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any future content. Your support means a lot to me. If you enjoy this video, please help spread these valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and create better videos for you.